I'm going to share with you the secret how you never ever have to fire a restaurant employee ever again. Hey, my name is Michael Tebow, recovering restaurant owner, caterer, turned author, speaker, coach, owner of DFY Marketing Systems, serving the independent restaurant community since 2008, getting you more new customers and getting your existing customers to come back quicker, spending more money with absolutely no work on your part. And thank you for stopping in with this week's edition of Mike's Money Making Minutes. If you're a returning viewer, thank you. I appreciate it. If you're new and you've never seen this before, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And we're going to talk about one of the biggest challenges that face restaurant owners, any business owner that owns a business, a brick and mortar business that sells stuff and has employees, right? One of the biggest challenges is lack of sales, right? And that's important because without sales, you can't run your business. Can't pay your staff, can't pay yourself, obviously. So lack of sales is a big challenge. But we're going to talk about staffing because staffing is such a huge problem in the restaurant industry. I know it. It's something I learned when I had 6 restaurants and a catering company and a staff of over 400 employees. So I'm going to share with you the exact same system that I use to manage all those employees and virtually never having to fire any of them because with this system, they end up firing themselves. And it just makes it so much simpler, especially if you ever have to go to unemployment court. This is very, very important. But I'm not going to be giving you legal advice. I'm just going to be telling you the system that I use that worked so well and made my pillow very much softer at night. I actually learned this system back in the late 1990s from the vice president of one of the local hospitals here who was a friend of mine, and he was the vice president of human resources. It's a 3-part system, which I love 3s because great things happen in 3s and it's easy to comprehend for you and for your managers. But with this employee management system, the trick is that your manager has to adhere to it. Whoever is in charge of the employees that's doing the hiring, the firing, the reprimanding, the training, everybody has to be on the same page and it has to be administered equally and consistently. That's important. That's the first thing that's important to make this system a success. The second thing is it has to be written down. You have to have something to point back at. And basically what I'm talking about is an employee manual. So we had 2 employee manuals. We had one for the company, a general employee manual, and we had an employee manual specific to the position. If it was busser, if it was host, if it was bartender, if it was cook, server, whatever the position was. So there's always 2 employee manuals, okay? But they have to be written because if you have nothing to point back at when an employee has a violation and it's written and it's just in your head, that's not going to work and it doesn't hold up when you have to go to unemployment court or you have to defend yourself as well. So make sure you have something that's written down. So that's the second important part. The third part is the employee has to knowledge and understand what the infraction is, and they also have to sign both the employee manuals, right? So that they understand everything that they've read and they sign it that they have read it. That is a huge thing. So you have to get that acknowledgement. So the corrective system is, like I said, it's a 3-part system. It's really simple. It's the 3-strike rule, right? So you find by the 3rd strike that they fire themselves. What I'm talking about is, let's just, use an example. Julie, the server, is consistently showing up late. Well, on her first infraction, your manager brings her in the office, brings out an evaluation form, reads what the infraction is because the manager wrote it. Here's the consequences. 2 more times, the 3rd time you're going to be fired. This happens. And the manager is going to offer help, right? What can we do to correct this, your behavior because it's unacceptable? Because you can see in section 12 of your employee manual, if you're more than 10 minutes late, you're going to be written up. So it's basically, we used to call it, 3-strike rule and writing up, but you have to have something in print to point back to. So by the third infraction, they already know because it's been discussed with them, and they have a copy of the first two, and it says on the third time that, you're late, Julie, you're going to be terminated. Okay? So there's no guesswork. I've had employees just, go, yeah, I get it. They typically don't show up because they already know, and they don't file unemployment claims because they have something that says I did something against the written rules and regulations from my employment, and I acknowledged it, and they offered me help to correct the infraction or the behavior. So that's how you deal with it on a professional level. Are there some infractions that require immediate termination? Stealing, drugs, any type of abuse, being drunk on the job. Those things need to be listed also in your employee manual. You need to sign it, and they need to realize that, hey, if you're caught, doing drugs on the premises, you're going to be terminated, right? So it's really a communication system. I love the 3-strike system. It works very, very, very well, and it allowed me to manage, like I said, hundreds and hundreds of employees over multiple locations, and it made going to bed at night a heck of a lot easier. So that's how you are able to never have to fire an employee again, because they simply fire themselves. All right. And if you'd like more information on this, I'm going to be doing a webinar class. If you're on my list, you're going to get a notification. So make sure that you subscribe if you're not a DFY family member, because we call everybody on our list a family member. Subscribe. You can subscribe on our blog page. You can, click the like button. You can head over to DFY Marketing Systems with an S.com and sign up there. You can find all great sources of information, articles, videos, podcasts, for sales, for staffing. But again, make sure you're on our list, and I'll send you an invite in the next couple weeks when I do a class. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's edition of Mike's Money Making Minutes, and have a fantastic money making week.